We are live. Get my page here. We are live. So I can share it to personal. We're going to get started. Okay. And welcome to the Terb Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Turbot, your local real estate expert in the Raleigh, Durham, or what we like to call Triangle area, aka Super Terb, aka Coach Terb. And I can't thank you guys enough for joining me today. I'm really excited about my featured guest, Chris Pressey with HDBROS. They specialize in real estate photography, marketing, video, and they are new into the area. Met Chris not too long ago, and he wanted to come on and tell a little bit more about their story. So I'm very excited to have him on. Prior to me getting him, or he's in backstage right now, ready, I want to just talk a little bit about real estate here in the market in the Triangle. And what we're seeing, as you guys have been hearing for some time now, we need inventory. We need inventory in the worst way. In the last 12 months, we have dropped 63% in regards to homes that are on the market. We're looking at a 0.7 month inventory right now. That's down from 1.9 months inventory of January in 2020. But because of the lack of supply, the demand is even higher than it's ever been. And our average sales price has gone up 12%. So I'm saying that, and if you're at all thinking about selling your home, whether that means downsizing, whether that means getting that bigger home, selling that investment property, or just selling your home to maximize on your equity to go rent for some time, pay off some debt, there's no better time. And this applies pretty much across the country. Of course, I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina. The whole entire country is feeling the lack of supply as well, due to pretty much of COVID-19 and the pandemic. It leads me into what sellers should be doing to prepare their homes to sell. And because of the lack of inventory, I still tell sellers, we have to do the basics in regards to getting your home prepared to sell to get max value. Buyers are very visual. And the top three things when preparing your home to sell is declutter, paint, and carpet. You may need to pressure wash the house. You may need to stain the deck, but you just want to give the buyers the idea that this is turnkey and all they just have to do is bring their stuff. You don't need to put in extra money if it's not warranted. Because of the lack of supply, buyers are in such demand for homes. As long as they can go in, they'll take things in consideration, meaning age of the roof, age of the HVAC. They'll look past that to get the home that they want, and chances are you'll have multiple offers. If you're at all thinking about selling here in the Triangle, reach out to us. We'd love to give you a no obligation market analysis, show you what our team can do to sell your home. And we'd love that opportunity to gain your business. So in saying that, I'm going to take a quick break. And then I'm going to bring Chris on the other side, and I can't wait to get to know him a little better, have him tell you a little bit more about HDBROS. So I'll see you on the other side. What's up, Chris?
Hey, how's it going, Mike? How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, and I'm back now. The Terb Podcast here with Chris Pressey. And Chris, tell everybody your name and what you do, where you're from.
Yeah, so as already said, my name is Chris Pressey. I'm the area manager for HDBROS. Who are we as a company? We are a media content company for all real estate and sharing space. I say sharing space because we also expertise in doing other commercial spaces as well. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a home, although that's our main part of our business. But yeah, again, I'm the area manager for Raleigh. So I will be the go-to contact for all real estate media content for any real estate agents that are currently, viewing this or may want to contact us in the future. And what my job is to ensure that our company expands to the area, and we're here to serve.
Awesome. And I also know when we've just talked and we've met that you're also a bit Panthers fan. So we'll have a little conversation throughout this. So we can discuss the possibility of bringing Deshaun Watson here to the Carolinas. So prior to working with HDBROS, you guys started in 2012,
Yes.
correct?
Yep.
What did you do prior to HDBROS? Have you been with HDBROS since the beginning?
Yeah, so I mean, long story short, the company did start in 2012, but the main bulk of the company, when I say the main bulk, that's the original owners. We've been best friends for a long time. I mean, a couple of the owners were friends since they were 6, 7 years old. A lot of us, came to know each other around 11 to 13 years old, and we've been friends ever since, right? And then come 2012, that's when we were in college. That's when the company started. When the LLC was given, if you will, and that's where the company began at that point. And as much as any other photography company, it was filming weddings, it was filming sporting events, company events, etc. You're kind of just wanting to put a camera behind anything, or in front of everything. And then for me personally, I was looking for more of a software-based job. So after college, I joined a company named Bronto. They're locally owned in Durham area. So for those who are aware, our office was right in the Tobacco campus, right next to the Durham Bull Stadium. That's where we were located. And from there, expanded on to LA. I was there for a few years, and we joined a company called Oracle. For a lot of those who are familiar with the software business, that's where I was for a few years, and I came back. When I came back to Raleigh, I love Raleigh for one. I requested to come back, and once we came back, I was requested from my friends to, hey, look, you need to join us, and I was like, all right, cool. Like I was like, all right, like what is going on here? Like let me actually, take a look, and it was actually pretty incredible. It went from, hey, look, we're filming 2 to 3 homes a day, to we're filming 5,000 in a year. And I was like, whoa, all right, something's going on here. This is real. Like, this isn't just, something that's just coming out of, the woodwork, or like, hey, look, it's a dream. Like, this is real. This is happening. So once we jumped in, and I left the corporate world and went into HDBROS, the next thing we wanted to do was a service-oriented company. And that's where, I was able to jump in and help with my software, experience in the back end. We basically built a company that isn't only just, having someone jump in a home and film a house. We have a whole service for you now, between our scheduling team, between the photographer on site, between the media team, actually editing all of the photos and video on the back end, and providing a next day service to where everything you do, no matter how many services you purchase from us, are delivered next day. We had that built. And now we're to the point here in 2021 to where we're currently serving the Maryland, DC, Virginia area. We have North Carolina now, where I'm personally obviously in Raleigh. We have a gentleman who's one of our best photographers in the company who's in Charlotte. We have a nice lady who's up in Boston now, and we're looking to expand more. And our dream is to expand the company nationwide.
Fantastic. So how many markets are you currently in? I know you mentioned a few, but do you have a total number?
I mean, Maryland.
Or are you Maryland, DC?
Maryland, DC, Virginia. I mean, those pockets, if you're familiar with areas, obviously there's, Northern Virginia, Richmond area, there's different cities, right? Just as much as there's Raleigh and Charlotte. But yeah, this next year, Raleigh and Charlotte are our biggest pushes. Again, we have a lady up in Boston who's getting ready to start that market up. We've had some talks of people, we're want to expand further south as well. There's a big push, and I'm sure, you yourself in the real estate, industry know that a lot of people from up north are moving down south. So we see that happening as well. And we know we're going to, do the same thing with our business. We're going to keep expanding south.
Yeah. We have about 70 people a day moving here.
Yeah, sure.
It's absolutely incredible. So, I mean, obviously what do you guys love? What do you love about the Triangle? I know you say you're here in Raleigh, but what brought HDBROS, or, what would you say, brought you guys here?
Yeah, absolutely. So, from my backstory, my father was Marine Corps, but I was born at Camp Lejeune in North Carolina, so Jacksonville area. And I moved around a bunch, but for some reason, something about myself, like I always felt like I was a North Carolinian. I was a big Tar Heels fan, Panthers fan, once they came around 1995. And I don't know, something always just drew me towards North Carolina. And when I got that job offer in Durham, I was like, let's take it. And I always just loved the area. When I moved to Raleigh, obviously COVID kind of ruined some of it, but I moved down here and I'm going to Durham Bulls games. I'm going to Canes games, traveling to Charlotte to go to Panthers games. I'm going to food truck rallies and goodness knows what, right? It's just the Raleigh area is so much fun. I'm going to live concerts and I just love the vibe. I mean, and to the people, like every single person I meet, I mean, even, yourself, Mike, I legitimately, I reached out to you, you responded back immediately and we, connected. So it's, everyone's super friendly here. It's just, I always just thought there was a connection here.
That's awesome. Yeah. I can't wait to be back in PNC Arena for the Canes, especially this year. They're so much fun to watch. Of course, we've been season ticket holders to the Panthers since the beginning. I say we, my parents, they've had tickets since '95. So last year was pretty tough that not to go to a game. We had the chance to go, but I didn't want to go with 5,000 people. I want to enjoy the experience. So, I'm hoping that all goes well, and in the fall we'll be back there. And I have a favorite name for the Hurricanes is Nino Niederreiter. That's my guy. That's the best name. That's the best name in hockey. I'm going to get a jersey for Nino Niederreiter. That's all I do is I talk around on Nino Niederreiter. So with HDBROS, when you guys start out now, obviously you've expanded, but what is your ultimate goal? What's your mission statement? And why would one want to work with HDBROS?
Yeah, our mission statement overall. We have a couple. It's funny you say that. We've had meetings recently, as much as any company does. Once they get to the stage that are going to expand, what is your mission statement? What are your goals, etc. And there's been a few that have floated around, but for a couple that I've hung on myself, especially when we're expanding as a company and we're talking to someone who's never heard of HDBROS, like, who are you? One thing that's really resonated with me, especially learning the real estate business, is that we know real estate agents, you're working, like when you're selling a home, you're not just working with us, you got to work with multiple contractors, right? You're doing all kinds of other stuff. As much as a lot of real estate agents are passionate about their business, sometimes it's not the most fun thing on the planet to do, especially when you're working with buyers and sellers and other contractors. We want to be the most fun and the most rewarding company you work with when you're working with contractors. We know that we're coming on the tail end of the business when it comes to selling a home. We're the last step, if you will. You're ready to sell the home. So for us, we want to be the easiest contractor to work with. We want it to be, between our website, easy booking. Literally go to hdbros.com and you can select a package, hit buy, just as easy it is to buy something from Amazon, which, as we all know, we're probably all Amazon buyers at this point. It's super easy just to select, hey, I want this, and it's there next day. That's who we are. You literally select a package and we're there next day. So we're easy to work with and we're fun to work with. The one thing we pride on, and I think when I said a bio to you, we really pride on our family atmosphere and, who we are as people. So everyone you get on site is extremely fun to work with. They're professional and they know exactly what they're doing and they're good at their craft. So overall, I would say one of the things that we pride on is that we're the most fun contractor to work with for real estate agents, and we're the easiest to work with, and ensuring that, as much as the selling process is a burden at times, we're there to help always.
That's fantastic. I know I tell people when I go on listing appointments, and not much has changed, but over the last few years, I always tell everybody our market changed when this sucker came out.
Sure.
2007. Because all your consumers and buyers have this. And even prior to COVID, which even video and, walkthrough videos, virtual tours became even more paramount. I always tell sellers when they walk in your door, it's a second showing. They've seen enough to come in. So the photography that you use is so important when you list a home. I mean, there's sometimes, and it still baffles me as a listing agent or buyer's agent or just in the business. I always tell everybody, this isn't my job, it's our business. Some of the photos that are out on the MLS, it just blows my mind, especially when you're trying to sell your largest investment probably of your life, especially in this market where it's such a seller's market. But even though it's a seller's market, you still have to get ready to go out on the date. You've got to price it right, and you've got to have it looking great and have those buyers reason to come in. That's that first impression. So obviously last March, we saw something hit us that no one was expecting. Remember, we were only supposed to be inside for 2 weeks in March. Of course, the market changed dramatically. I always say before, $399 and under, $350 and under, you didn't know there was a pandemic. About 4 to 800,000. We saw a pause in the market for about a month, in the fact that people were just kind of seeing what was going to happen, plus virtual school, working from home. Then we saw an increase mid-April to end of April. We saw about a 26% increase of new active listings as well as under contracts. And then May, the barn doors blew off. But in saying that, when COVID hit, what did HDBROS do to change did you have to change your approach at all? Did you have any issues taking photos with people in the house? Did some people not want you in the house? I'm sure there was a lot of, things that you guys had to also audible on the fly to do your job.
Yeah, there's a couple of points to just answer that question in general that I would like to hit on. One is from COVID standpoint. Yes, we had to wear, we have to have all photographers wear masks. At one point, we had them, wearing gloves, but luckily that seemed to be something that wasn't necessary because we weren't touching anything in the home. That is something that we were, because we normally, and in the past pre-COVID, would maybe move some to the side, right? Or, hey, look, like that wasn't supposed to be there. We know that, and we had to kind of stop some of that stuff, from a general sense. Every once in a while, there's like, hey, look, let's, put the trash can over here or whatever, there's small things we'll do, but, we had to kind of stop doing some of that stuff, but, masks, gloves, et cetera, just ensuring everything's cleanliness, letting the agents know that, hey, look, please ensure the home's ready because we're not touching anything on site just for, just to ensure we're safe. But I think the biggest thing I want to hone in on with the COVID conversation, and COVID jumps into it, but as a business, we've seen, and personally, I've seen two different types of markets. Either A, you want marketing services because there are so many homes on the market, you want to stand out. And that seems to be where most agents live because they say, hey, look, there's a million homes in the market. I want to stand out. And that seems to be where most agents are like, hey, look, I want to invest in the marketing services, which is great. And this is what you should do, right? And just obviously, as someone in the business, I would recommend that. The other side, which would be side B, is which we're living in right now. And this is where a lot of it, I would say, it possibly gets dangerous for some agents is they sit there and go, I'm selling homes faster than I'll get out. The home's already sold before I even put it on the market, coming soon market, et cetera, that I don't need to invest in photos and video. I really don't care. The home's going to sell tomorrow anyway. The problem with that is once it gets to the point to where once the market is super saturated with a bunch of listings, you have no portfolio, right? So what we would like to tell people is, hey, look, even though the market's hot, like we know you're selling these homes, but we want to build a marketing portfolio for you. This is the perfect time to where when the market gets saturated, you don't have to worry about fighting for listings. That's one of our biggest slogans is win more listings. So we know that if we, go ahead and film these homes for you when the market's hot, that now once the market slows down or maybe it turns to the other side eventually, you don't have to worry about, am I going to get listings or am I going to get attention? You've already had that marketing portfolio built. And that's where we come in and, and we've been in the market, obviously 2012 is when we started. We've been in the market for close to 10 years now. We've seen every single, twist and turn that the market can give us. And we know that no matter what side the market's going on, even with this, downturn as far as the actual inventory for listings, we have a lot of our main agents that have been using this for a long time. They're not slowing down. They are still doing 3 or 4 homes a week with us. So I think it's a proven system.
No question. And I think that it just separates I always say who you work with matters, and it doesn't stop at your agent. It stops. It's everybody, because when you hire an agent, you're not only hiring them, you're hiring their team essentially. And I'm a big component of the photos, the videos, and what have you, especially when buyers are looking. They have to have a reason. Like I said, it's a second showing, and they don't need 2 hours on a Saturday to go look at a home anymore. If they do, it's because they've seen enough, they want to go look at it. And it will help you as a seller, if you're listening, get max value for your property. There's no question about it. So tell me this, what motivates you?
What motivates me? I mean, I'll go ahead and go back to the family atmosphere. And when I say that, for me personally, obviously I have some ties back to the owners, right? So this is a family-oriented company. This is something that we've been building for a long time, and it's something that you want to work for, right? I think I came from the corporate industry, and a lot of times what you're doing is a passion of yours, but you're working for someone you don't know. And then coming to something like this, where you're working for a smaller business, yet it's something that your friends have built, you kind of have that extra fight, if you will. You know what I mean? Like, there's an extra oomph to it when you wake up every single morning and you know that you're working for somebody that actually matters to you. So, and that's what I always tell a lot of agents that we work with, et cetera. We're not sitting here just trying to tell you, hey, look, we have super expensive photos and videos, like, buy our services. When you join us, you're joining a family. It's a whole family atmosphere. You're coming with us. You're coming with the atmosphere. We have a mascot named HDBROS. Raleigh is the dog. Who kind of you jump into stuff like that, right? You're kind of coming into the culture and you're joining in with us. To where, not to knock any other company, because I'm not talking about any other company, but you're not just buying services. You're joining in with us, and it's a family atmosphere, and we want to ensure that you're taken care of at all times.
That's cool for me, because I'm getting into video, and you've probably seen me on social. Sure. I love cameras, and I've got an Osmo Mobile 4. I just got a Canon EOS M50, which is like your basic beginner vlogger camera, which I'm learning how to do that. What you guys, I'm sure, have all the toys though. What's your favorite camera? I like to geek out on this stuff.
Sure.
So,
yeah. I mean,
you guys have drones that you use.
We have. There's a whole entire toy box back up in Richmond, Virginia. When I say toy box, I'm actually not giving it justice, because it's shelves of cameras all over the place. And our custom video team, for stuff that we do for listings here, we have the general setup, right? As far as what every listing needs to be. Needs to have in order to film a listing. Yet our in Richmond, Virginia, this office, and it's like shelves of nothing but cameras and et cetera. And I think we have a couple of 4K cameras that are amazing. I think overall though,
let me ask you this: what's the most expensive camera you have?
I mean, it's gotta be the red. The red cameras are always the most expensive, and they're the fun toys on the planet.
Yeah.
That's for the tip of the top custom project, right? You know what I mean? Like, that has to be like, there's some, and again, that kind of goes back to the earlier years of the company, to where us as a company now, we don't have those cameras on every single site because it's not cost effective as a business. But just from a custom standpoint and just enjoying the craft, the red cameras are just do fantastic work. Cool. So you can't not like those.
Have you seen the new, this is off topic, but kind of, well, it's on topic, but side note, for the NFL, they were using those cameras. They were close in, but it was like portrait style. That was so cool.
Yeah, I saw
that was really cool. Like, I was like, I wonder what that costs, but I won't one. Yeah. That's cool. So you say with HDBROS, your goal is obviously expansion. So you'd say in the next 5 years, where do you guys want to be?
In the next 5 years, we'll be in multiple states. When I say that, beyond what we're in now. I'm sitting here talking to you as in we're expanding to Raleigh and Charlotte, right? So let's take North Carolina out of the picture. I can see us all the way down to, the rest of the states in the Southeast, call it the South Carolina, Georgia, Florida area. Let's go ahead. We'll probably take care of those. I'm sure those are expanded. The Nashville region is extremely growing fast. So we've had some talks in that area, but I'll say the next 5 years, I mean, we're going to keep growing. Just to go into some of the, corporate conversations I've had with Bronto and Oracle when I was with that company, what people are wanting in today's world is they want to work for a company with a good atmosphere. That goes a lot farther beyond than what salary we're paying for anybody. You know what I mean? Like, before it was like, I need money to pay for this, et cetera. Now it's like, I want culture. I want people. I want to work for a company I believe in. And we feel like we give that, we're a part of that atmosphere. I feel like people will see us, our culture, and who we are, and the people we hire, and they'll want to be a part of the team. And it'll kind of sell itself. And we feel like we'll definitely, in the next 5 years, probably have a good amount of the East Coast covered.
That's awesome. Quick question for you. Another question, which I like to ask all my guests, and they don't know it's coming. But and with you, obviously, you know you're the area manager, but you have aspirations of what's gotten you to this point. Same with HDBROS. But the question I love to ask is, what's the best advice you've ever been given, and by who?
Best advice I've ever been given.
You're my 14th episode, and I've gotten 14 great answers.
Yeah, honestly, one that hit me, and this is the first thing that came to mind, right? Obviously, you threw this at me, so it's like this is the first thing that's popped in my head.
Yeah, usually it's the first. Run with the first thing.
Yep. So when I was with Brahms at Oracle, and I jumped over to Santa Monica, I had this turnover in my head. Like first, I was like, "Wow, these people are extremely smart. I don't know anything like they do." And I was sitting in the corner of the room, shutting up and just learning from everybody, right? And then when I moved out to my job in Santa Monica, I started being a senior. I was promoted, and I started acting. I was training a lot of people. I thought I knew everything, right? And you start slowly turning into that. I think I know everything spiel.
Mm-hmm.
And Mark Hurd, which he was one of the CEOs for Oracle for a while. He did a seminar at our office in Santa Monica, and when he was sitting there, someone asked a very similar question, so that's why it popped in my head when you asked that. So it's like, what's the best advice or whatever. And here is this guy is a multi-billionaire. He's the CEO of Oracle. Like this guy literally takes a helicopter from the office to go back home. And
nice.
Yeah, right. Exactly. He's one of those guys. Basically told the whole entire audience that like never think you know everything, always be a student. And that when he said always be a student, that's something I put in my back pocket and stuck it there. No matter how good you get in the industry, no matter how big you get, no matter how much money is in your pockets, always be
learning.
Yeah. So and that's something we do here at HDBROS too. We literally are part of this. I don't know if you ever heard the website Better Book Club. We do stuff like that with our employees, and we're always learning. We're always sharing books, sharing ideas, and I think that's extremely important. No matter how we definitely want to keep that culture of always learning, always helping each other out. And I think overall, always be a student, always taking, I think that's the best advice I've ever heard, because having that mindset, you never get above yourself. You're always just, staying on a good keel with you and your team and everybody.
I like that. No, I mean, it's so true. And it's evident in all walks. I mean, that's how I am. I mean, you're 15 in my business. My mom's in year 33, and we're always trying to learn and try to stay one step ahead. Just in the time I've been helping people with the real estate goals, the things are changing daily, and I'm always thinking how to get better, how to help people better, and in this market, you kind of have to do that to not necessarily, I guess, to stay ahead, but just to stay sharp. So that's I love that answer. So before I take a break, kind of what we talked about before, with the Panthers.
Yes.
I'm gonna ask you, what would you trade for Watson? I've heard we are in the top 3, or we've made the cut with Miami and the Jets and us, and there's been some speculation of what we'll give up. And I don't think there's obviously a line, but I think if you could get a Deshaun Watson, who is from Georgia, played his ball at Clemson. Something interesting I just heard yesterday, that in all the years the Panthers have been in existence, we've never drafted anybody from Clemson. Now, we still wouldn't have drafted Deshaun, but we've signed free agents, undrafted free agents, but we've never drafted anybody from Clemson. But I have a feeling with David Tepper, who's also worth $13 billion, he knows the business side of this. And I think there's a few Clemson fans around the Queen City in that area that would probably buy jerseys and maybe come to games. So I think that also plays a role. So you say what you thought. I could tell you what I'd give up.
Yeah, on my end, I think I'll say what I would be willing to give up. But I think the one crazy thing that I've been hearing, I think it needs to go away. I think it's just because we've been jumping away from this, or we're trying to clear so much salary cap. Is we can't give away Christian McCaffrey. That's not going to happen. But I would say overall, the picks part, that's obvious, right? We're going to have to give some picks, whatever it's, a few years, et cetera. The picks are going to come. So let's go to the next spot. The one thing I've heard, and a lot of people haven't been talking about, is that the Texans want defense. that's like what they're building their philosophy on. So I think the whole CMC conversation goes out the window, and we're now like we need to think about what defensive players are going to end up walking out the door.
That's a great comment, because I've heard Brian Burns, who I don't. Brian Burns and Jeremy Chin is the two guys I wouldn't want to give up. Now, counter your thing about CMC, who I love, but obviously Teddy Bridgewater is going to be part of that equation. I've heard we're going to give up 2-1s, which basically you have to tell yourself you're getting Deshaun with the 8th pick, basically. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're going to trade our 8th pick. I think we're going to give up our first-round pick next year. Teddy Bridgewater, and then things that I've been hearing is CMC and even Robbie Anderson. The reason for Robbie Anderson is if you want to keep Curtis Samuel and put him at the number 2 receiver spot, that's an option. Robbie's got 1 year left on his deal, and he's about 3 or 4 years older than Curtis. I love Robbie, though, but if that's something that can go. But the thing about CMC, though, in running backs in general, is 2 years ago, he was only the, I think, 4th back in history with Roger Craig, Marshall Faulk. Who am I leaving out? Maybe he was the 3rd ever to do the 1,000 receiving and rushing, and we still only won 5 games.
Sure.
So, but a lot of that was because we could only throw it 4 years at a time. That was when Cam was hurt. So, that was our check down forever. And the reason why we had 1,000 receivers last year with DJ and Curtis, or Robbie, I'm sorry, and then Mike Anderson, or is it Mike
Davis?
Who was Davis? He had 1,000 yards rushing, but that was because CMC wasn't playing. If we can keep CMC, I'd love that. I'd actually throw in an extra 3rd round pick. We'll see. It all boils down to this, that Deshaun has to come here, wants to come because he's got the no trade clause. But I feel like if this is a move we can make to get him, I'd rather do that than trade up and try to get a young quarterback, which you're going to invest 2 to 3 years for that maturation. I just want things fast, and I think that's how Tepper is. I like how we've built the defense. They're young, so it'll be interesting to see, because but Cam and Deshaun are tight, and I didn't really agree with how we handled Cam's departure, and we'll see what happens. But either way, it should be interesting. I just like the fact that we've got an owner that's wanting to do everything to win. That practice facility they're building down there in Fort Mill is going to be amazing. He's already, I think, acquiring the rights, or they're making room. I know that there was an old plumbing or piping company near the stadium now that's sold, or I think they're making moves to get a new stadium downtown, because you can't move the Panthers out of Uptown. It's just not the same. But I also think he wants parking. So I think he'll put the new stadium adjacent, and he'll tear the old one down, which it's hard to believe that's 20-some, it's approaching 25 years that stadium's been around. Feels like yesterday.
Yeah, right.
But then I think he'll make that all parking and shopping or something of that nature to get more on that front. So, but I think the future is bright. I like Matt. I like Rule, and I like, we lost 8 games last year by on the final possession. We went 0-8 with the ball. Now 2 of those games, I think we attempted a 65-yarder in Kansas City, and there was some that weren't that probable. But I like Teddy. But when I used to coach, we'd be sitting in our recruiting meetings, and we would be talking about players, and we'd always say one thing. We'd say, "Well, he's good, but he's good enough to get you beat." And as much as I like Teddy, I just think he's more of a backup in the league. I think if you need him to come in to win a few games, just like he did in New Orleans, but as long as you have the right pieces around him, we'll be okay. But we'll see, man. It's going to be exciting. So do you want to stick around and go over the local beer of the week with me?
Yeah, absolutely.
First of all, before I go, say real fast. Of course, I'm going to tag you on the post and everything, but just let everyone know how they can reach out to you, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. So if anyone's watching, you want to reach out, feel free to go on any social media channel. HDBROS, obviously I've been wearing the shirt, so you know how it's spelled there. We're on Instagram, social media. Again, I mentioned our mascot HDBROS Raleigh for fun, just because obviously who doesn't want to watch a golden retriever, online. Also, if you want to reach out to me personally, feel free to email me. My name I believe is on the screen. It's chris.pressey@hdbros.com. So feel free to email me there, or reach out to me on any social channel as well. And you can ensure that you get taken care of.
Very cool. I was going to ask too, have you gotten your Super Terb koozie? You can't see the can because it's a green can, but anybody that's watching this, want a Super Terb koozie, reach out to me. So we'll take care of you there. So let me go ahead and I'm going to take a quick break, for my audio that's being recorded here. Got to throw in my commercial, man. And you'll stay on with me and we will talk about this local beer of the week that I have.
Let's do it.
All right. And welcome back to the Super Terb Podcast. Again, I have Chris Pressey. He's hanging out with me on my last segment here for my local beer of the week. And this week, I'm kind of throwing a little curveball. There's times I'll try a beer on, but it's only like $11.50. So can't really start the beer now, but I guess it wouldn't be good. The second is I like to feature local breweries. Obviously, we have breweries all over the area. They're just awesome. But I wanted to feature something that we just had a new agent join our team. Her name's Anne-Marie Kernick, and her husband, Sean Kernick. I saw his work, and she brought this to me because she knows I do local beers of the week. And this is a beer. It's an IPA, and it's not so much the IPA itself, but it's the mural or artwork that was done on this can. And Sean did this. And he also, if you go to his Facebook page, Sean Kernick, or his website, Sean Kernick, that's SeanKernick.com. He does all kinds of cool artwork that are almost like illustrations. It's just really neat. And so I wanted to give a shout out. And this picture, it was kind of neat. I was talking to him yesterday, and he did this as a competition. He's from Detroit, and this was him as a kid. And the name of the beer, or on the mural here, is Racing the Street Lights Home. And because when he was younger, when we didn't have iPhones and pagers or whatever, he knew when the street lights came on, he had to get home. So that's a picture of him with his big wheel pulling his wagon of toys. So I thought that was really neat. So check out his website, guys. It's awesome. He's doing some artwork for me. I'm actually going to see that Super Terb illustration look now. But in saying that, I always want to talk about my good friends. I got two that are my local hangouts. They're both in North Raleigh. One's a hangout. One's where I pick up nice craft beer. Chris, I don't know if you've been to Taylor's Wine Shop. Have you heard of them?
I have not, no. But
all right. So you're near Briar Creek, right?
I am.
So if you're going 540 towards Six Forks, okay, so you're going east.
Yep.
Take the Six Forks exit, go north, and they're right there on the left. It's a BP Taylor's Wine Shop. I grew up across the street in Pannonia. They've been around for 40 years, family-run business. But inside, they've got phenomenal wine, craft beer, local beer. Go check them out. Tell them Terb sent you. They're awesome. My other place that I always like to mention is up a little closer to where I live now in Bedford in North Raleigh. I was up there on Saturday, and it's Dee's Bottle Shop. They're near Wakefield Tavern. We went up Saturday night. You can get takeout, bring it in. They've got, I think, 15 beers on tap. You can get growlers. They've got all kinds of beer that you want. I like stouts. Depends on what mood I'm in. Is there a certain beer you like? Are you a beer drinker?
I am, yeah. I am more of a beer guy for sure versus anything else. But two, I'm not gonna lie, especially moving back to Raleigh, I'm a light beer guy just simply because the food is so good down here too. Yeah. So
my problem,
I can't drink the heavy stuff. Like I want to mix both.
So my goal is to just get through the week, sure, and then the weekend it's on. But I put on that COVID-19 over the, when we were quarantining, because sure, the people that DoorDash, Uber Eats, and Grubhub know the Turbot family. That got us out of routines, and then I think we had happy hours every other day, Zoom wise. So I'm trying to be good. I ran my 4 miles this morning, so awesome. That way I can enjoy stuff on the weekend. But yeah, that's a lot of fun. Well, man, again, I appreciate you coming on. Again, anybody watching this that's a local business owner, entrepreneur. I've had last week, Coach Bobby Lutz. If you're a coach, reach out to me just like Chris did. I'd love for you to use this to tell your story. That's the reason I'm doing this. Is I love interviewing people and hearing their stories and what they're about. So do not hesitate to shoot me an email at michael@idaturb.com. Also, make sure you please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Michael Turbot, for all your up-to-date real estate updates. You see my videos, testimonials, all that. Lastly, we just got a comment here. So we got this as great content. You know, Carter? I think that's your guy, huh? Cool.
I do know Carter. Yeah.
That's awesome. So then, of course, when I post this, you guys can subscribe to my iTunes, link, Spotify, anywhere you can find me. I'd love the support. As always, guys, I love your referrals. One thing, someone reached out to me, are you too busy for another client? I said, what? No. We want to help everyone. That's our goal, is to help you accomplish real estate goals. So if you like this, especially if you're hearing this on the iTunes, please like, subscribe, leave a comment. I really appreciate it. And again, it's Michael Turbot with Chris Pressey. I'm your local real estate expert with the Ida Turbo Group, coldwellbanker, HBW. And as always, guys, remember, who you work with matters. See you next week. Thanks, brother.
Have a good one.